everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you are brand new, welcome. I'm super glad to have you here. My name is Jessica, also known as Chic Professor on Instagram, and I make videos about luxury goods, the pre-loved market, and workwear. So today's video is going to be about luxury pre-loved goods. So I bought two bags. The first is the Louis Vuitton Chelsea bag, and the second, a little bit of a mini reveal right here, is the Louis Vuitton Saleya bag. I bought both of these pre-loved, and I am going to be giving you a little bit of a comparison between them, as well as a description of the Chelsea, because I am going to be selling it since I bought this one to replace it. So the first thing I want to talk about with the Chelsea is why I am selling it. So the reason that I'm selling this bag is because I found that the shape was a little bit too rectangular for me. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but it was just more space width-wise, length-wise, depending on how you measure it, that I needed, and it was exactly the height that I needed. So I'll show you in a little bit when I show you what fits inside of them, that I carry around folders. I am a professor, so I carry around folders in my work bag, and this was definitely going to be a work bag. And the folder pretty much exactly fits under sort of where the zipper is in this bag, and but then I also have just extra room that I don't need. So I like the size of it. This was definitely the right sized Chelsea for sure, and I did like it the few times I used it, but I didn't love it, and I also didn't love the straps. So I found that the shape in general was really nice, but not exactly what I was looking for, and I didn't like that the straps curled because I did like to wear it on the shortest setting. I am 5'4". If you are taller than me, then it would probably look great on you on the longer strap setting. So you can see that the straps have a few different holes. I have it at the top right now though, and so they are much more likely to curl with that. What I do like about this bag though is that it has these nice flat straps, and that it is damier ebene, so I could use it in any kind of weather and feel totally fine with it. But the straps annoyed me, and then also I knew that if I got them replaced, and you can see I talked about my repair story because I did get this bag repaired in my last video. If I did get them replaced, they'd likely do it again, so I just didn't really love that. And I also didn't love that the bags, the handles weren't articulating, like they didn't lay flat when you weren't using it. So it was a little more difficult to store. Those are very, very minor things, and for a lot of people, they probably wouldn't care about it, so I do think it's a wonderful bag and worth selling. One thing I want to note when I'm selling it is that it does have one mark on each side. The bottom is in pretty great shape. The only real issue is some of the corners have a little bit of scuffing, but otherwise the bottom is in really nice shape, and it's 100% authentic because it has been repaired by Louis Vuitton. Both of the zipper pulls are in nice shape, and they have some tarnishing, but not bad for an older bag. And then what I got repaired was the snap on one of the sides. So the two marks on the front, the first one is this little white mark, and it probably is possible to clean this one. I'm just not exactly sure how to do it, and I just didn't do it, but somebody might be able to do it. And then the second is actually a little bit of like a burn mark almost. I'm not sure what happened because I did buy it pre-loved, but it's right there. Neither mess with the integrity of the bag, and they are really minor and small and difficult to see. Oh, I have a little receipt from Louis Vuitton. Actually, I didn't even know they did this with the repair. This is so nice. Okay. We have the pleasure of returning your repaired product. Your product has been carefully repaired by our expert craftsmen who work meticulously to restore your product to the highest standard of quality. If we could be of any other assistance, please contact us at Louis Vuitton store or at louisvuitton.com. That's so nice. I didn't actually open it after I did the repair, which I probably should have done, so that's in there. But beyond that, there are some marks on the bottom of the bag, as you can see. So that's definitely something to keep in mind. Otherwise, it's in good shape. This material is like a red canvas. The canvas color is beautiful, and it does have this hook right here if you wanted to put a pochette or something in there. You wanted to hook it to that. So it does have some marks on the bottom. Inside the pocket is good because it is canvas. You don't have to worry about it peeling or anything. It's in nice shape with that. And because I'll be comparing it to the other bag, another thing I want to mention is that it already has like a stiff board on the bottom that they have attached, so I can feel the board, and it's not just the bottom of the bag, it's like another, like it's thicker than just the typical bottom would be, if that makes sense. So it's nice and thick. This does come apart, which it does in the other bag too. Like the lining isn't stitched all around it. You can like pull the lining away from it, but actually it's worse in the other bag than it is in this. It's difficult to do so. It's in nice shape. And then it says, you know, Louis Vuitton Paris in here. Does it say Louis Vuitton Paris? Am I making that up? It says Louis Vuitton Paris, made in France. So it is a made in France bag as well, which a lot of people care about. So that is something to keep in mind. And then one thing that the Chelseas have in general, but a thing that I noticed that just felt like a little bit of like almost a lack of attention to detail, is that this top part is not like finished in the damier bend. I don't know why. I guess they figured, oh, it's just inside. And I really don't think that that's just wear. Though actually it is a little bit better on this side. So maybe that is just wear and something to note about my bag. But my bag is in a really nice shape. And from what I remember, it is from like 2008. It might be like, it may be way older than that, but it's like 10 to 15 years old and it's in awesome shape. So that is this bag. That's what I like about this bag and what I don't like about it. And I will show you what fits inside after I talk about the Saleya. Okay, so the next bag is my Saleya, and I absolutely love this bag. I think it is really beautiful. It has everything that the other bag didn't have, which is the articulating handles that do not have a swoop, fits over my shoulder perfectly, and it is a little bit more of like a sleek shape. I like this bag better than the Tote, the Westminster. There's a few others that are sort of similar to this bag, and I find that this is the most like streamlined and understated and sort of classic, and since it will be a work bag for me, that's exactly what I wanted. So I'm really pleased with it. It also has a little bit more hardware in terms of these are thicker, and it has these little pieces that say Louis Vuitton. So I really just love this bag. It has these cute little pieces at the end that say Louis Vuitton. This one was also made in France, so happy about that. Since I was talking about the handles before, I do want to mention these ones are not the flat handles. These are the rolled handles, and they are less comfortable on your shoulder than the other ones are, for sure. But I will take it because I like the articulating handles, and these are just in perfect shape. I have to say, in general, this is probably the best like shape of bag. It's in the best condition of any bag I've ever bought from Louis Vuitton. So I've only ever bought pre-loved, by the way. I've bought an SLG, but otherwise it's been pre-loved, and so this one is actually in perfect shape. It is a new bag. It is wonderful. The only thing that was an issue was the zipper had some tarnishing, but the person got it repaired, and so they had the repair receipt from Louis Vuitton, which is why I felt a little bit okay paying more than I normally would for it. So now that they've replaced that, it's in perfect shape. There are a few tiny tarnishing marks actually in the zipper teeth, but that is it, and it's pretty hard to see that. So even the bottom is in like perfect shape. One thing to note is that sometimes they come back with this blue on it, which is an indicator that it has been repaired and authentic. I have to say the zipper pull I had on my pochette accessoire did not come with that on it. Not that that's a big deal, but I guess this one is more prone to scratching because it is just a plain smooth. But you can see it says Louis Vuitton. I don't know, can you see that? That it says that on there, and then says it on the pieces in here as well. So that's the outside of this bag. The exterior is in great shape. Now these will probably turn up in the same way that those handles did. This is just a newer bag. It's only actually I think this one is almost 10 years old too, but I could be lying. It could be like 5 to 10. I really haven't paid that much attention to it. The bag was discontinued a few years ago though, so it's definitely a couple of years old. The interior of the bag is a little bit different than the other one. So obviously the zipper is different, the zipper pulls are different. It also has a red interior and also has the little key ring if you wanted to attach a pochette or your keys or something. However, this one is in the micro suede, microfiber lining. So it's really soft, it feels very luxurious, it's really beautiful, and it also has these, instead of having a zip compartment, which is what the Chelsea has inside, it has these just slip compartments, which I find really useful for organizing, especially when I'm using it for teaching. It's nice to have like my keys and my wallet and whatever that's easy to get to, and then I can just have kind of everything else in the middle. So one thing to note that I noted in the other bag is that this does not have the same bottom. So this base is, I mean, you can see me moving it. The other one is a lot harder to do that with. So I'm a little worried that if I'm carrying heavy stuff over time, this one's gonna warp, and I may have to get a base shaper for it if I see it starting to do that. Whereas the other one, because it's leather on the bottom, it's much stronger in the Chelsea. This does come off the lining. It's actually harder for me to grab it, but it's just not as sewn on as tightly. So like I can pull this whole lining up, which I think is not a huge deal when it has stuff in it. Nothing's ever going to happen where I'm going to be like grabbing the lining and pulling. But if I don't have anything in it, it does kind of warp the interior of the bag a little. So I wish it was just like sewn in on the corners or something to stop it from doing that. But as you can see, it's in awesome shape inside. The interior is really great, and it's a stunning bag. So I will show you what fits inside of both and give you the measurements so you can see exactly how they compare, though here is how they compare just standing like this. So let me actually shape this nicely so that if it was folded, I was storing it, they sent it back to me folded when I did the repair, so it was like that. So you can see it's a little, this one's a little bit taller, and the handle strap, even on the shortest one, the handle strap is longer on this bag than it is on this one. And then this is how the depth and the sides look together. But this one really isn't much wider. You can see it's actually smaller. It's actually smaller than this one is wider than this one is, but this is just looks wider because it's more rectangular, and this is smaller on the bottom. The base of this other one is significantly wider, as you can see, and it's just a rectangle, whereas this one is more of like a trapezoid shape. Okay, so here is my bag of tricks. I will show you what fits inside. As you can see, they stand kind of differently. This one's a little bit slouched, this one kind of collapses. So first thing I'll show you is inside of the Chelsea. I can fit my water bottle, sunglasses. This is the Prada Porta Pen, so it just holds all my pens and stuff I need for work. Key case. I am going to put my key case and wallet in the zip pouch in this one since it does not have slip pockets. This is just my tape measure, which I'm going to use to measure later, and then folder. So I can slip a folder in, but as you can see, the folder kind of needs to be put under the, oh, drop the other bag, put under the strap. I also have an iPad. This is the mini, iPad mini, a pochette accessoire. You want to fit that in there as well, and then my computer, which I will measure for you in a minute, but it is quite large. And I know it fits because I brought it on that trip to New York. So my computer fits in there too. So that is everything inside of this bag. As you can see, the folder takes up you know, most of this space, but I've got a good, I don't know, what do you think, 3 or 4 inches, 3 inches, probably 2 to 3 inches on the side that I didn't necessarily need all of that room. And it's really heavy because it's got a lot in it, but I did use up most of the room in there. So that is how everything fits inside of that one. So I will go ahead and transfer everything into this bag. So as you can see, everything does fit inside this bag. It is also really heavy because all the stuff inside of it is heavy. But it kind of gets a little wonky in shape, and it doesn't love fitting all of these things. There are a few things where just the shape of them is not as great for this bag. So the Chelsea is bigger in terms of how much it can hold. It can hold wider things, but not things that are quite as tall. As you can see, I had no problem zipping up with the folder or the computer, which if the computer is the same height as a folder is about 10 inches. So that is interesting to note, that this one is definitely taller, and a folder fits along the bottom perfectly. It does not stick out like the computer does, so that's a little bit easier to handle, but that is how everything kind of fits inside of there, especially without the computer. And without the computer, it's much easier to zip, and it all just fits a lot nicer. It's not sagging exactly on the bottom, but it's definitely not quite as sturdy on the bottom as the other one, and so you do have to be wary if you're carrying heavy things with that. While I've got my measuring tape, I will go ahead and measure these quickly. My computer is 14 inches wide, and it is 9.5 inches tall, which I guess is the same height as a folder. A folder is about 11 by, a piece of paper is 8.5 by 11, so a folder is about 9.5 by 11.5, something in there. So this bag measured at the top is 18 inches, 17.5 inches wide. At the base, it is about 12 inches wide. So that is a really large difference between the top and the bottom, something definitely to note. The height is about 11.5 inches, so it is a really nice height. Depth is about 7 inches. So compare that to the Chelsea. The Chelsea is the same width all along, so I was just measured on the bottom, 16 inches. So this is wider at the top by 2 inches, but the base of this one is 4 inches wider. And it is 10.5 inches tall, and then the depth is 6. So it's slightly less deep. This one is 7 inches, but this one is taller, and then the width, this one's kind of in the middle of the base and the top of the width of the Saleya. So that is the measurements of these two bags. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that you enjoyed the video. If you did, please give it a like and subscribe if you are not already subscribed to see more content. If you have any questions about either of these bags, please let me know. I'm happy to answer anything. And if you are interested in the Chelsea, please let me know. I will be selling it on my Poshmark, eBay, and Tradesy, but I'm happy to sell it through PayPal as well. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, and thank you so much for watching. Bye!